I don't know how you're feeling these days, but I'm getting a little nervous about this Brandon Woodruff stuff. Get to that next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Good to have you along. Chuck Freimund here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. This episode is brought to you by MLB The Show 26. MLB The Show 26. Visit MLBThe.show/LockedOn. Use the promo code LockedOn. Unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Available now. MLB The Show 26 on PlayStation 5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, rated E for everyone. Coming up on the show today, we'll talk about roster moves and Brandon Woodruff. Like I said, I don't know how you're feeling about this. I was a little nervous when he took that offer, the qualifying offer of $22 million. And I've told you that I don't think the Brewers were risking thinking that he was going to take that. They were risking it, thinking he would decline, they'd get a pick out of it, and then he ended up taking the $22 million. And the Brewers said all the right things. Oh, it's great to have Wood. Of course, it's great to have Woodruff back. A great healthy Woodruff back. But he was coming off the lat pull last year, and I think there was some reason for concern there. Okay, with Woodruff. Now, again, this is my gut feeling on this, and I feel like my gut feeling usually works out in something like this. Of course, we're all pulling for Woodruff. If you want to talk about guys who they should put a statue in front of AmFam Field on, based on character, based on being a good guy, based on being a fan favorite, Woodruff would be there. Okay? He is. And I still think he flies under the radar in that, but Woodruff, by all accounts, is a great guy. On the other hand, we're paying him $22 million to pitch, right? And it scares me a little bit that he was throwing 88, 89 yesterday, and he got taken for a couple of back-to-back jacks. Came out of the game, 3 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks, 106 degrees outside. And the team is still not saying whether or not he's going to be the opening day starter. He doesn't know. They don't know. Nobody knows if he's going to start the season on the injured list or what, because that's a possibility, right? If he's not there, you can't have a guy going out there throwing 88. Now, he says this. Well, it's not like we're throwing in a major league game out there. A big league game, your blood gets flowing and all this. And these were comments I saw in the Journal Sentinel. Paraphrasing here, the blood's not flowing, basically saying that, well, it's a spring training game. It's not like when the lights are the brightest on a major league night or a day game or an afternoon game. When you're playing in a major league game, that's when the blood starts flowing a little more. And that's what he is talking about when he's not really in his throwing mid-90s right now. And we did see the velocity drop last year, right? But 88, 89 on a fastball, we can't have, obviously. He says he feels good physically. We're going to take him at his word. Now, last year, and he doesn't have to tell us, the media, at all, how he's doing physically. That's not the media can ask him, but it's really, at the end of the day, let's face it, it's not our business how he's doing physically, right? That's between he and the team, I really believe. So whether he's not feeling up to par physically or not, I don't think he's going to come out and say, well, God, my shoulder's just killing me, or my lat is killing me, or whatever. No, that's just not at least that's my feeling on that. But I feel like I'm worried that this is going to be one of those seasons, and it's that season hasn't even begotten yet. But I was under the impression that he was going to be all full go, ready to go. Now, when you give someone the qualifying offer of $22 million, if you're the Milwaukee Brewers, you have to be thinking, I'm giving this guy the money because I have faith that guy is going to be ready to go spring training. Turns out he wasn't, right? It wasn't. is not up to speed. And obviously by throwing 88, 89, I don't care what he says, it's just not good enough. 3 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks. Good on some people's standards, but not the standard that Woodruff has set for himself or what the Brewers have or what he's paid to do. So I'm, again, some of you guys are going to say, oh, relax and all that. Relax. But you same guys who told me to relax in the past on certain things like Christian Yelich a few years ago and a few other things. I never hear you come back and tell me when I'm right on some of that stuff, right? Oh, relax. Anytime there's a reaction from us, oh, relax. Relax. Please. Yeah, I know it was a hot night and all that, but I think it's a little uneasy, let's say, when someone you signed to come back to be your ace, right? He's going to be the ace on this staff. Signed to be the ace, moving up a notch with Peralta, that we don't know if our ace is going to be ready for opening day. Now, the Brewers have plenty of pitchers to cover up for any starts. But I think when Woodruff is on, and Woodruff's on top of his game, and most importantly, healthy, Woodruff is one of the best pitchers in baseball. I really believe that. He's 78th on the MLB, or 76th on the MLB Top 100, the Locked On MLB Top 100. And I think that shows you that he was even that high, given the fact he's never won more than, 13 games in his career. That says a lot. But I'm just hoping we're going to take him at his word. He's going to pull everything together. That when the lights are on next week, if he's able to pitch, he's not throwing 88, 89. They won't throw him out there if he's throwing that, right? That'll be some concern. So the velo dipped last year, and it's dipped again in his last start. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out with Woodruff. I just have, my gut gives me an uneasy feeling about it right now. That I hope we're not sitting here and saying, God, it was $22 million. That was not well spent. And even the 2 years, $17 million with the $10 million buyout, that was not well spent. It could turn out to be a big-time gamble that a franchise like the Milwaukee Brewers can't afford. Yankees, Boston, Dodgers, they write stuff out like that easily. Brewers can't. When the Brewers sign somebody, even for $20 million, and I don't mean even, but hey, the Brewers just don't throw around $20 million. It's got to work out. It's got to hit. It always has to. That's just where they are at this point. So, and I do believe that might have, by him taking that qualifying offer in the offseason, I do think that might have hampered their maybe free agent spending in the offseason. Maybe I'm wrong on that because they haven't done really much in the free agent signing anyway. But maybe they might have been a little bit more active. Win 97 games. Why would you try to continue to fortify your team? So that's that. We're going to talk about some roster moves next. The Brewers did make a few, including one I think was a mild surprise to me. We'll get to that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. By the way, you get us on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your audio podcast, the #1 Brewers podcast on the internet. And please go to our growing YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. MLB, the show is out. This episode brought to you by MLB, the show 26, the latest from the beloved video game franchise. Each week, we're highlighting the stars of the MLB Top 100 Players list. Brandon Woodruff in its number 76. Again, I thought he was ranked a little higher than he should have been. And again, I'll take it, though, since Milwaukee Brewer players usually on lists like this are usually underrated. But Woodruff got the number 76. And, Woodruff on top of his game is a top 50, right? Coming off the lat and all that. I'm just hoping Woodruff has a healthy season and can contribute and make the 150 innings of starts that the Brewers hope he's going to make. But Brandon Woodruff came in at number 76 on the MLB Locked On Podcast Network's Top 100. All right. That MLB Top 100 highlight presented by MLB The Show, where you can play, manage, and build with your favorite players and teams. If you love talking baseball, MLB the.show/locked on. Unlock a pack for the Diamond Dynasty. If you're watching me on YouTube, you got both right here. Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series X. My kid's going to be diving in, I'm sure. When he gets home from school today, we have the codes as well. So great to get the so-called hard copy of this delivered today. Good stuff. Available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, Nintendo Switch, rated E for everyone. The show is also brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. College basketball tournament is going on right now. There's a few of them going on, but you know the one that's going on right now. FanDuel giving you a chance to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with the college basketball parlay profit boost. Go safe, go bold, apply the profit boost, and instantly bump up the potential payout. Head to FanDuel.com. Get started today. FanDuel.com, FanDuel, and the live betting. You like it? There's a favorite, like yesterday, Duke. Duke was a 28-point favorite. And maybe you liked them on the money line because that money line was dropping. They were down to minus 330, I think, at one point. Maybe you jumped on Duke, who made a late surge and came back, and you cashed in. But head to FanDuel.com. Get started. FanDuel.com. FanDuel. Play your game with FanDuel. All right. The Everydayer Club as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later on here in the show. Now, as far as who made the team, Lockridge. And I was telling you it was going to come down between Lockridge and Blake Perkins. And I was like, how do you not keep Blake Perkins on the team? But not been a great spring for him. And he's not great offensively, even going into this. But Lockridge has had a real good spring. He's batted .324. He is officially, in my book, Mr. March of the Milwaukee Brewers. Last year it was Vinny Capra. This year it's Lockridge. There's always, I feel like this time of the year in March, the guy who gets the headlines is usually the guy who's the surprise or one of the last guys to make the team, right? Over the years, that's the way it's been for the Milwaukee Brewers. Well, who are we talking about? We're talking about who the roster spots, who the last couple of guys are going to be making this team. And in the last week, Lockridge has been making the headlines, and he's earned it too. Again, I always qualify it. I don't put all my stock in the spring training numbers. We know this. But Perkins is going to start the year down at AAA. Not like this is the last we've seen of Perk. Perk is going to be on this team. But he gets caught in a numbers game. They're down to 14 position players as of doing this podcast. They got to get down to 13. And you probably think that Reese McGuire is going to be the last guy out there, right? You already got two catchers. You got Hefferson, Hero, down at AAA. So that would be 3. But Reese McGuire is probably going to be the odd man out here. I would think so. Not officially yet, but I would think so. A couple other moves the Brewers made. Logan Henderson down at AAA. Still, again, he developed that elbow tendonitis. So he starts the year at AAA. At one point, he was possibly ticketed for this starting rotation. Tyler Black, who got a ton of at-bats early on in AAA, and he was just raking, went off the team Canada. I don't really think Tyler Black was going to make the team anyway. Some of you have asked, should Tyler Black be a third baseman on this team? Brewers, I think that ship has sailed. He's either going to play first base or outfield with these guys, if he ever makes it. But he's going to have to, again, start down at AAA. But Tyler Black, remember, back in February, about a month ago, the guy was raking. But you look at the first base spot. Vaughn is playing well. Bowers is playing well. I think Bowers would have had a wretched spring training for Black to pass him. But Bowers, who can play anywhere in the outfield or first base, he is going to be back up. And I like Bowers. I do. I want Bowers in the lineup every day. No, but I like Bowers. Still want Vaughn, righty or lefty, getting the majority time at first base. We'll see how they work that out. But Tyler Black would have had to earn a spot here at first base, but he's got Bowers and Vaughn ahead of him, and that was not going to happen. Cooper Pratt stayed on this team for a long time before he was sent down to the minor league camp, but he got sent down as well. And I can tell you, we will see Cooper Pratt again eventually, whether it's in Milwaukee, whether they trade him in a package deal somewhere down the road, who knows? But Cooper Pratt, of those guys who are highly touted in their farm system to come up and contribute it, or at least be on this roster, I think Cooper Pratt's going to be one of the first guys. And I'm talking with the Peñas and Mades and guys like that. Could be him. Could be him. Maybe Jet Williams. Jet was traded over here in the winter, but I'm talking about the homegrown guys. But interesting. Lockridge makes this team as one of the last guys to make it and fields his position. He has been hit with power, that's just a bonus. Smart guy, runs the base as well. And from what I understand, he checks out as one of the fastest guys in baseball. Just a fast, smart guy. Got him in the trade with the Padres last year, the Cortez deal. And it turned out the Brewers got the sharp end of that one. Now, so that's in a roundabout way, that's part of the Devin Williams deal, right? Because they trade Devin Williams to the Yankees, and they get Cortez and Durbin back on that deal. And in turn, they send Cortez at the trading deadline to San Diego for Lockridge. So they got Lockridge and Durbin, and then they spun the Durbin trade. So a lot is paying off in that Williams trade. I mean, if you factor that out and you meet that out a little bit, that Devin Williams trade is, they're getting more and more prospects out of it. It's turning out they did a great job, I thought, the front office. Been in that Williams trade into even more players down the road for what they've done with Durbin, what they've done with Cortez. Right? Yeah, they traded Devin Williams and both the pieces that they got back for Devin Williams last winter. Those guys are not on the team anymore, but they've spun those players off for, I think, better players who are going to help them out in the long run. As we mentioned, Durbin is starting at third base. So that's it. That's what's going on with the Milwaukee Brewers. Wanted to drop a Friday podcast with you guys. And I'll got one more final segment coming up next. We'll get to that next here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Robinhood, a great new sponsor here. Right here on Locked On Brewers. Robinhood. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time. Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You could buy or sell positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in moments that matter. Robinhood at prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, so when the momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can take advantage of that with the market powered by people. You're no longer a spectator. Play-by-play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robin app to begin today. Also, the podcast is brought to you in part by Indeed. And if you're sitting at your desk here on a Friday and you see that chair that's open in your office and you're saying, man, I can't find anybody fill that chair. I got all these resumes, but really nobody fits what I'm looking for. Well, Indeed sponsored jobs can help you out and fix that workplace chaos. Indeed sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for. Skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate walks through that door. You're going to get that right candidate. With Indeed data worldwide, they say 27 hires in the short time I'm talking to you right here have been hired with Indeed. So go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. And listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves. Indeed.com/podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? It's a job for Indeed sponsored podcasts. All right, down the stretch we come. Lately, we've been finishing off with some lighter things here. The Brewers today revealed like their food trucks and some of the new things they're having on their at the ballpark, which, see, to me, when I go out to the ballpark, I'm just a bratwurst guy, a hot dog guy, stadium sauce. Although I like the stadium sauce better when it was when the worker behind the counter dipped it in the warm secret sauce and then he put it in a bun. Now you got to go to the one of those tables that are sitting right outside that thousands of people have been using and digging into all day, and you got to pump the secret sauce out of a vat. But I liked it when it was warm. It was warm. It tasted a lot better. But see, when I go to a ballpark, I don't care if I get the brisket loaded waffle fries. You know what's disgusting? When people order some of this stuff and let's say they don't eat it all, it's just like sitting there in the 80-degree temperatures. It looks, as you're walking down the aisles and getting out of the ballpark, you see this stuff. It's like, God, you could tell some of this food they got and they just weren't feeling it. It sounded like a good idea at the time. But once they ordered it, it was like, oh my gosh, what did I order here? But me, I don't even go to the nachos or anything. The hot dogs and brats. And when I go to games sitting in the stands, about the fourth inning, go up there, get one. My kid will always want to opt for something like the hamburger or something like that, or something that's going to cost like double digits, like 10 to $12. I'm like, oh man, no, get the hot dog or brat. My kid, the hockey player, always looking to eat healthy, even with a hamburger. So, or he wants to get the chicken sandwich. Me, I don't go for the nachos. I don't go for the brisket loaded waffle fries. Just give me the brat and hot dog like the good old days. And I am good to go. Probably two of them. Because one, you're 6'2" and 235. One brat is not going to do it for you in the fourth inning. Get you through. All right, that's going to do it. And by the way, the Everydayer Club. The Everydayer Club, I've been telling you about that. The Everydayer Club. We dropped the Everydayer Club. It's something for you to take advantage. The commercial-free podcasts on the audio platforms. The Discord, which I was in the other day, and we're going to get that going during the season here and talk with you about, chatting. And you got to be a member of the Everydayer Club. So check it out. It's listed in the notes below. Listed in the notes below, whether it's on the YouTube notes or any of the audio podcast notes. It is all there. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back Monday, and beginning a week from Sunday will be the Brewers' first Sunday regular season game. So during the season, we drop these late night on a Sunday night. I try to drop them about 10:30 on a Sunday night. So you have a little Sunday night viewing, talking about the game and all that. So look for our podcast once the regular season start on Sunday night. And I try to drop these overnight. Usually I'll cover a game, and some of these I'm going to be doing at the ballpark themselves, but I'll be doing a game, and then I'll just I'll come out, I'll bring the equipment, and I'll just do the podcast from AmFam Field. I'm going to try to do more of that this year. But then I usually drop these for night games, 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. Depends on how long what time I got a locker room and all that. But we'll have a lot of it. We're going to try to do more weekend shows this year as well. Maybe some afternoon shows as well. In addition, bonus coverage. I'm looking forward to a great season, and we're going to have a lot covered here on Locked On Brewers. It's going to be a busy, busy year. It's going to do it. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody watching the tournaments. Little night game for the Brewers coming up on Friday night. We'll catch you on Monday. Chuck Freimund, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day.